Okay, so I wanted to show you my strategy based on the Elliott wave pattern. Okay, so basically, when I buy on a pullback, because if you look at the Elliott wave, the pattern is in 5 waves. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so if we are in a bull trend, I'm going to buy after wave 2 and after wave 4 on a pullback. And then when we get to the top, at the top of wave 5, I'm going to sell. I'm going to sell because the next move after that is that one here on the right, which is A, B, and C done. So the market move up in 5 waves, and then at the top of the 5th wave, it goes down in A, B, and C. Okay, so that's why when the market moves up, I'm not chasing the market. If the market is moving up, I just leave it, because I'm waiting for a pullback, which is wave 2 and wave 4 before buying. Okay, so if I look at the chart, so here we've got the DAX, okay, and basically I don't show the whole chart here. This is a 15-minute chart, okay, but you can see here we've got wave 3 in bracket, wave 4 in bracket, and then that sequence here, I think, is wave 5 in bracket. It's a final move up, So if I look inside the final move up, it should be in 5 waves as well. And we've got 1 here, 2 here, 3, and 4. So on that day, which is the 4th of June, I am expecting a rally, which is that one. Okay, I'm expecting a rally above the top of wave 3. Okay, but of course, I have to make a decision whether to buy or not to buy, because, as I said, I'm waiting for a pullback, and we've got a pullback here, which is a wave 4. So we've got the 5th wave, in bracket, which is unfolding in 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And here there is a potential buy opportunity because it's moving higher. However, as I said, in the past, I've said that I need to make sure that the risk reward is good before doing a trade. So first, I look at the stop loss, and if I look at the DAX, I need to have a reasonable stop loss on the DAX, because the DAX is quite volatile. If you trade the DAX with like 50 points or 60 points stop loss, it's not good, because it's going to be hit easily. You have to remember that the tighter the stop loss, the more likely you will lose, because this is the nature of the market. The market is volatile, and especially the DAX. So when I set a stop loss on the DAX, it has to be a wide stop loss because of that. Because if you have a wide stop loss, the probability that it's going to be hit is small, and that's how you can make a profit. You don't want your stop loss to be hit. So that's why I don't go for the tight stop loss. I always go for a wide stop loss. So in the case of the DAX, I think that the DAX stop loss should be between 200 and 300 points. Okay? Because when you set a stop loss, you have to look at the profit potential as well. If you set a stop loss at 200 points, then the profit must be at least double. So it must be 400 points. And so you have to ask the question, is there a potential profit of 400 points on the DAX? I would say yes, because it's not uncommon for the DAX to move 400 points in a few days. In fact, if you look at this chart here, you can see that, that sequence started, the DAX was about 11,600, okay, and it's already gone to above 12. So it's like, in that sequence, you've got more than 400 points. So the important thing is the stop loss. It needs to be in a safe place. So when I say a safe place, I looked at where the market can pull back, and if I think that there is a potentially a large move done before it goes up, then I won't buy early for that reason. And if I look at an Elliott wave pattern, for example, one of the rules in Elliott wave analysis is that the 4th wave cannot overlap the 1st wave. Okay, so for example, that wave 4 here, it cannot go down to that level, 12,055, okay? that is the top of the first wave. So in terms of Elliott wave, that fourth wave cannot terminate below the top of the first wave, so below that level, that blue line. So it means that if I'm going to buy for the next move up, I'm going to buy in that area. Why? Because I have my key support level is at 12,055. Okay, so 12,055. Say I use a 250 point stop loss, so I have to add to 250 points. So I add 250 points and I get 13,305. Okay, so that means that where I can buy at 12,305 or above. So it means somewhere here I can buy. Okay, but before I buy, say 12,300. Okay, so that's my level where I can buy, because at least I know the stop loss is probably safe based on that wave count. But then I have to look at the profit potential also. So if I'm going to have a 250 point stop loss, or I need a 500 points profit basically. Okay, that means that is there 500 points on the way up? That's a question now. I have to look at the potential profit on the way up. If I'm going to buy at 13,300 and I have to add another 500 for the potential profit, that takes me to 12,800. Is that possible or not? If I think it's possible, then I do the trade. So I would wait for the market to go to 12,300 and then buy, because the target is now 12,800. And if I think that is reasonable, it can be achieved, then I will do the trade. So that's why on the 4th of June, I didn't buy because it didn't go low enough. You can see it didn't go low enough. So instead, what I do in that situation, I will start looking to sell. So what do? The market is moving higher, and I placed an order to sell at 12,580 because that is above the top of the third wave. Okay, so it's that blue line here, the sell level. Why? Because that move up here is a fifth wave. It's a final wave of the advance. And if you remember on the chart of the Elliott wave pattern, after 5 waves up, it will go down in 3 waves. So that's why it's an area where we can short. And again, I'm going to use a wide stop loss, like 250 points. So that was the plan on the 4th of June. But of course, what happened, you can see on that chart, it didn't go to that level immediately. It didn't go to that level, it just dropped. And I thought at that stage that maybe wave 5 is complete. That wave 5 here. So I move it lower here. That's what I thought. I thought that the market has completed the 5 wave up inside wave 5. And I'm going to put it on the chart now so you can see. Now, okay, so here we have a complete sequence now. So basically, I thought that we missed that sell order because it didn't get filled and the market started to fall. So I think, okay, we missed it and it's going down from there. But in fact, it's not going down. You can see later on the next day, if I move the chart, you can see that rally above it. So that occurred on the 5th, on the Friday, at the open, okay? So when I see that, then I know it's moving higher, because if we've got 5 waves up, like here, inside that wave 5 in bracket, and the market still goes higher, it means there is kind of extension somewhere, or maybe I didn't count properly. And in that case, I didn't count properly, because sometimes you get a small decline like here in 3 wave, and you think wave 4 is complete, and now we've got wave 5, but in fact, wave 4 is here. Okay, it's a bigger wave 4 than I thought. That's what it is. Okay, so that's what happened. So basically, that kind of pattern like that is like an expanded flat. You can see it's going down in 3 wave. Here is the first wave in 3, then a move above the top of the third, and then a decline to complete the fourth. Okay, so that's the pattern. And of course, I had an order to sell at 580, and I forgot to cancel it. Normally, I cancel it when I see that decline because I think the decline. It doesn't matter because as soon as I saw that that was coming back and that order got filled, I closed it at the open. As soon as it dropped to 12, it was 12,565. I closed. So I managed to get that basically at no loss, and that was the reason why I closed is because I can see it's moving. I shouldn't go back above the previous day's high. Okay, so basically that's the strategy. Okay, I buy on the pullback, and if I go to the S&P, so let me go to the S&P. It's a similar thing. It's a similar thing on the S&P. We are in an uptrend, as you can see, and this is a wave count. It's a bit like the DAX. Okay, I think this is the top of wave 3. Okay, so this is a 15-minute chart again. It's like an intraday chart. I just put that chart because I just want you to see all the subdivision. Anyway, that I think this is the top of the third wave, the fourth wave, and we are now in the fifth wave in bracket. Okay, so that's one. I think that is the fifth wave going. Okay, in 5 waves. So for the fourth wave ended on the 29th of May. And then what we have here is the first wave inside the fifth, the second wave inside the fifth, the third wave coming here. So that third wave occurred on Friday after the non-farm payrolls. There was a big rally. And then we get the fourth wave here. I'm not sure if that is over, but yeah, basically, again, I just want to explain the strategy, buying on the pullback. Again, I have to look at the stop loss on the S&P 500. And as I said, I'm not looking at a tight stop loss because there is a high probability will be hit and then we lose. Okay, so it has to be a minimum 50 points on the S&P 500. The 50-point stop loss or more. Sometimes it can go to 100 points, depending on the volatility. If the market is very volatile, then it will be 100 points. So I start looking at where to buy, where to sell. Okay, so when you have a second wave like that one, you know, this is the fourth wave. So let me put the level, the bottom of the fourth wave, you know, at 29.98. Second wave like that one, in general, they are deep. They are not like small, they are large, you know. So that one is small, you can see. You know, it ended at 30.90. Okay, normally you would expect that second wave to go lower. That's what I was waiting for, because if it comes lower, then we can buy. You can see we've got a stop loss. It must be below the previous low, which is 29.98. So say, for example, I have a stop loss at 60 points, for example, and we are, it has to be below 29.98. So 29.98, if I add another 60 points to that, it's like 3,058. Okay, so 3,058, you can see it's about here, 3,058. The second wave did not decline to that level. So that's why I didn't buy, because you know, as I said, you have to look at the risk and the reward there. Okay, and as I said, if the risk is too high but the reward is not high, then I don't do the trade. But the most important thing is the size of the stop loss, because if your stop loss is too big, then it means that the profit has to be big as well. Because if I take a stop loss of 100 points, for example, with a stop loss of 100 points, I need a profit of 200 points. So, for example, if we look at this chart here, the previous low was 29.98. If I add 100 points, a 100 point stop loss, we get to 3,098. So it was possible to buy here because it went to 3,090. But the question is, if I'm going to have a stop loss of 100 points and I buy at 30.98, which is just above, is there enough upside of 200 points? That's what I'm looking at an upside of, because the stop loss has increased to 100 points, so then the profit must be increased as well. And that's why I'm asking, is there potential for 200 points upside? That means that it would take us to 3,300. I am not sure about that. You can see, it's a big move, 3,300. And that's why I didn't do the trade. A, because I'm not sure there is enough upside. I'm not sure the S&P can go to 3,300. And B, that wave 2 is not big enough. It should be lower because it's like a second wave and they are larger. So I'm expecting some kind of bigger pullback before buying. And a bigger pullback is better because you reduce the risk, because the stop loss is smaller, and then you increase the profit, the reward, because the profit potential is big. You know, when the market moves down, your profit potential on the upside increases. So that's why I didn't do that. Then Friday we get that move up, which is a wave 3 here, and then there is another pullback coming for the wave 4. And the question again is the same thing: do we buy or not? I have to look at the risk reward. And in that situation, because it's a fourth wave, and that fourth wave cannot overlap the first wave, which is here. So that's the key level now. The key level is 31.30. That is the top of wave 1. And that's the wave 4 here must not come to that level. So the key support is 31.30. And from that level, I can calculate my stop loss, because I know that it's unlikely to come back to that level. So if I add, say, 50 points to that, I'm going to take a small stop loss of 50 points. 31.30 plus 50 points. It means the buy order is at 31.80. 31.80, it didn't come there. It didn't get to that level. I mean, it was close. I think the low was something like, it was 82. Okay, so, but with a 50 point stop loss, the entry level would be 31.80. Okay, so nearly there. Okay, 31.80, I guess it's a good entry level because it's near the 38.2 retracement level, which is that line here. Okay, because this is a fourth wave and it tends to end between that line, just above that line or around that line. Yeah. Okay, so it means that it's not too bad to enter. But the question again I have to ask is, if I'm going to use a 50 point stop loss, is there 100 points of profit potential? That's the question now. Because remember, we always stay in the same risk reward. So if I'm going to buy at 31.80, can the market rally to 32.80? And I think it's possible. I mean, it's going to be tight, but it's possible because you can see that wave 5 here. If I move a bit, then we are talking about that wave 5 inside that wave 5. And I think you will probably end below that level, because if you look at it that way, okay, so we've got 1, 3, 4 in bracket, 5 in bracket. Inside 5 in bracket, we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I am an expert. In my experience, I should say, in my experience, I've been studying Elliott wave for many years. When the first wave is very long, like you can see, it's the longest wave. You can see how long it is compared to the third wave. In my experience, when the first wave is very long, the fifth wave will be shorter than the third wave. So that's why I put it here, because I can see that we've got a long wave here, wave 1. We've got a smaller wave for wave 3, and that one should be even smaller. Okay, so that's why I put it there. I put it around 3240, somewhere like that. I think it will end around that level. So going back to my potential buy order, if I wanted to buy to profit from that move up, and I was buying at 3180 around here with a 50-point stop loss and a 100 points profit taking, that means that the S&P should go to 3280 for, you know, to get my 100-point profit. It is unlikely we'll get there. You can see again, because 3280 is well above that level. So it could go there. I'm not saying it won't go there, but based on my experience of watching the market, when you get a long first wave, that fifth wave will be short. And that's why I think it's more likely to end below. It's more likely to end like 3240, 3250, something like that. So that's why, again, I don't do the trade, you see, because the risk reward is not good. So yes, what I could do is have a smaller stop loss. Instead of 50 points, I could say, okay, I'm going to get a 40-point stop loss. And then the trade is feasible. If I do that, I have to wait for another drop. You know, instead of buying at 80, I have to buy at 70 to make it 40-point stop loss. But then there is enough profit. Then we can do a trade. But that means that now the stop loss is too tight. It's 40 points only. You see? So that's what I'm trying to explain here, is that either your stop loss is tight and you increase the risk of losing, because when the stop loss is tight, the probability that it will be is greater, or you have to have a wide stop loss, but at the same time you need a wide profit, you know, a large profit, and that is not always possible. So that's why sometimes the market will move, but we can't trade because the risk reward is not good on each wave. So that's why I'm asking you to be patient, because with patience, you know, there will be a time when there will be a good risk reward, and then we can do the trade. And at the moment, as you can see, it is risky to trade because what you need in that situation is a tight stop loss, and the tight stop loss, as I said, has a high probability to hit. Okay, so I hope this will help, and if you have any question, please email me. Okay.